Hey guys, welcome to episode 35 of the Red Bra Project channel, YouTube channel. Sorry, I'm messing up my words already. We were just talking about how late it is tonight, but we are so excited for our guest tonight, Lindsay Ashworth. But before we get to her, I want to throw it over to my co-partner, Renee. How are you doing tonight?
I'm awesome. So doing well. How about yourself, Shauna?
I am good. It is chilly and rainy in New England. I don't know what's happening with these weather patterns, but where are you tonight? Are you at least warm, maybe?
I am. I'm very warm. And I was just sharing with Lindsay, who we're going to introduce here in a second, Shauna, that I'm in a public space tonight. So if somebody happens to walk in, I'm just going to look around and you guys do your thing. But I realize I have a pet fish behind me. So this is my fish. I haven't named him yet, but we'll see about that later.
That's awesome.
Well, I hope your fish enjoys being on our show tonight and is as excited as we are for our guest, Miss Lindsay Ashworth. Lindsay, we are so excited to have you here tonight. I'm going to throw it over to you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background and share with our audience who you are and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm Lindsay Ashworth, and I help people celebrate their lives through party decorations and positivity. That's what I tell everyone. It's very niche. It started out really just with party decorations, and as I got really passionate about, self-growth and development and positive thinking and the law of attraction and all that, I just got more into that. And so I thought, why not combine them? They say the niches are in the riches. So.
I love that saying. I haven't heard that, but I love it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I make party decorations, custom party decorations, digital and custom, and then kind of add into it just the whole idea of positive thinking. So teaching others how to think more positively, mostly starting with gratitude. I know you guys are familiar with gratitude. I know a lot of people talk about it, but it's so important. And so I just try to talk to people about it and how important it is in people's lives. So that's a little bit about me.
So I want to say, go ahead, Shauna.
No, I was just going to say, you mentioned gratitude, and that is the huge part of your platform. Can you share a little bit more about where all this kind of started from and how this became your vision and your mission?
Totally, yeah. So I guess I've always kind of incorporated gratitude in my life, and I didn't realize how it was kind of impacting me, but it was really probably just after my daughter was born, and I kind of suffered from postpartum depression, as I've realized a lot of people kind of head into like a spiritual awakening after they're kind of in that situation. But after that, I had read a book by someone named May McCarthy, and she wrote a book called The Gratitude Formula. And it was all about writing in your gratitude journal and how to write and how important it was. So I just started writing in my gratitude journal about, my relationship with my daughter, and that we just have the best relationship and we're best friends and we love spending time together. And sure enough, within like probably 3 or 4 months, I really started to see such a huge improvement just in our relationship. And I just really saw the big difference. And so that's what encouraged me to just want to tell people about my experience. And of course, everybody wants to know how to manifest money and these kind of, Range Rovers and all those kinds of things. And I'm totally for that and I love it. But of course, you can't, go to sleep with your money and you can't die with your money. So it's really all about just living in the now and celebrating your life and everything that you have, because people sometimes really just focus on, what they're lacking. And so if we can really just stay with what we have, we just realize how much we do have. So that's kind of where it all originated from and my jumping off point.
So how long have you been in your kind of your event and party events and great gratitude business?
Sure. Yeah, so probably about 2 to 3 years, I've been doing the party decorations, and just really within the last year, I've started kind of opening up to people about the positive thinking thing. And I wasn't sure how much it was gonna stick with people. And sometimes I wonder, like, oh, should I, am I gonna have to break these things apart? But I was like, I think there's a certain kind of audience that I kind of attract that, likes the whole idea of like fun printables that go along with, this idea of positive thinking and stuff. And so it's just kind of morphed into this new thing. So we'll see where it goes. Life always just aligns you exactly where you're supposed to go. So I'm not really worried about separating them just yet, but we'll see how it goes from here.
As a mom myself, I so appreciate your vulnerability and sharing just that you did, go through postpartum, because I think there's such a stigma around it. And so
Totally.
I have gratitude for you sharing that. I think that, it's so hard for women to understand this weird sense that they feel. They should be so excited for this new life is what we're told. And
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
You've told a lot from your audience. Have people come to you just really around that?
Yeah, well, it was funny because when I really kind of just felt this calling to kind of merge the two, and I wanted to, because I was doing a lot of this like personal development, a lot of the things that I was reading was saying that your passion and your purpose in life is really to help others, which obviously you guys know a lot about. And so I was like, I don't want to teach people how to make party decorations or how to sell on Etsy or any of those things. And the more that I reflected on it, I was like, I really love this idea of positive thinking and gratitude, and I want to talk to people about it. And so I just realized it was going on in my head, and I was kind of posting some things, and I was like, I have to like bite the bullet or pull the trigger and tell everybody about, because I was kind of hinting at it, but I wasn't saying what really happened, which was like the postpartum and stuff. And so to come out, I like did a live video one day and just came out and started crying and just talking about it. And like, I'm so glad I did, because afterwards I just sat there and was like, I can't believe I just did that. Just, universe, tell me that was the right thing. And I swear I got so many DMs that day just from people saying like they were so grateful to hear that. And I had it too. And I was just like, I couldn't believe how many people were coming out of the woodworks to say that they also had it, because no one really talks about it. So it was really great.
That's awesome. First of all, is my voice sound weird?
There's a bit of an echo on you.
This is strange, guys. Hold on. Let me move that guy. Is that better?
So much better.
Weird. Okay. I sounded
like the Scream movie kind of voice adapter thing.
Technology, right?
Right? Red Bra Project first.
Okay.
That's right.
Robo voice, here I come.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a unique combination, and even though it's not something that you see every day or anything like that, you felt the tug in your heart, and you're like, you know what, I love this. I love party decorations. I love helping people put on an amazing event. I love all of this. I know that there's a need, and I know I have a talent, but you also, it sounds like you were searching for something that needed to be a little bit more fulfilling. You didn't want to teach them this or that, but you're going through this own self-discovery, and it's like, I need to share this. And then,
Really?
talking about when you did pull off the Band-Aid, as you explained, kind of having that vulnerability hangover because you were so vulnerable. And then afterwards, it's just like, oh shit, what did I just do? And, it's been kind of following your gut the whole way.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of times you're in your head and you think, that everybody else knows what you're thinking, right? And so I'm always thinking about, oh, I'm going to do this and that. And it's like, people don't know. I have to like tell them. So it was like, I had to come out in a big way and say, I want to help people with this. And so I actually announced on that video that I wanted to help people in some way. And I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to do that. And so after that, I ended up deciding to create a course for people, which I haven't launched yet, still in the works. But yeah, I kind of just came out and said it. So I was like, well, I better get going on this course. So, and actually funny that you say that about how they're so different, because just a few months ago, maybe just last month, every month Etsy sends us a monthly email about searches that are going on. I don't know, just to give you an idea of what to like sell and stuff like that. And it said, in relation to party decorations, positivity was being searched. And I was like, what is going on? This is amazing.
Hello, universe.
I know. So I was like, I don't know. I don't know that it had anything to do with me, but I was like, this is cool. So we're spreading the positivity.
I think, oh, am I robo now? Just on my end?
Maybe just on your end.
Go ahead.
I was going to say one of the beautiful responses that you gave, and, we follow up with all of our guests ahead of time, was talking about this fear of judgment from other people. And I know myself that I constantly think about, what if I put this out there? What are people going to think? You have this beautiful, perspective on judgment. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you push through that? And
well, that's definitely a day-by-day thing for sure. But, I'm in a program with one of my mentors. His name is Jim Fortin, and he always talks about how people are really only fearful of two things. And one of them is the fear of judgment and the fear of rejection, those two things. And so we live our lives like, trying not to have either of those things. But then he always reminds us that, spoiler alert, everybody's already judging you. So you might as well do what you want to do, right? And I think as we get older, we start to realize that, life is short and we want to, I think there is a time in your life, maybe it's like where we all are, where it's just like you've kind of grown your regular career and then you kind of move into this new state of like, okay, I need to figure out what my life is really about, what my purpose is, And so at first I was, and I still, don't get me wrong, worry about judgment sometimes, but I just try to push that away and say, someone needs to hear this message today. If it's just one person and everybody else doesn't get it or whatever, then that's fine. I helped one person, right? So that's kind of what I try to focus on when I do my lives or videos or anything like that. So
perfect.
Yeah, it's like you put your eye on just the smaller thing or one thing, and then that kind of helps take you through the next step and getting over that fear. And I like how you say, just with the fear of judgment and things, spoiler alert, we're getting judged no matter what. So you may as well be doing what you want to do and, so be it. So.
Exactly. Yeah, it's such a hard thing to push through. So we all feel all of it. So.
Yeah. So tell us about how you combine the two and what that would look like, say for, I don't know, what kind of party do you want to have, Shauna?
My new job party.
Your new job party? Did you get a new job?
I did, yeah. Let's celebrate.
Congratulations. That's so exciting.
It's about you, Lindsay. But throw me a party.
I love it.
It's about you, Lindsay, so throw me a party.
Let's see. I guess I don't really necessarily combine the decorations with positivity, although I have thought about having a Mana Fiesta at some point where I can get all my girlfriends together and we could do vision boards and do some really fun things with decorations and things like that. But it's really just more about helping people celebrate their lives, helping them celebrate themselves. So whether that's, through the party decorations or just, through positivity and gratitude and things like that. That's kind of the basis of it. But the other thing too is just being on Etsy and working with customers and stuff. I always try to kind of set that positive vibe, and that's what's so great about working on Etsy actually, is just most of the people that are on there are pretty great people. I mean, the audience is so nice. So it allows me to kind of be myself, use smiley faces. I'm in corporate America, as I know we're all familiar with, and you don't use a lot of smiley faces. I try to just be really like me over email, as opposed to the standardized, text. So just wherever I can bring it in is kind of what I try to do.
Oh, your designs are gorgeous. They're so cute. And every time I see them come up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have a reason to have this party, but I want to have this party. That's how I feel.
You're so sweet. Yeah, it's fun to do. Yeah, and I have a few parties that are kind of my go-to parties that people come to me for. So those are fun. But I do really love the custom parties too. So I have a lot of people, they'll just be like, oh, my kid's into blueberries, can we do something around that? So I like creative stuff like that. It's fun to do.
So Etsy isn't a platform that we typically feature or really utilize here. So there's the selling component of it, and then is there a forum part too for the different sellers to kind of get together? Or
they do have forums. I don't really kind of participate necessarily in them, but just it's kind of its own search engine. So people really just go to it to search for party decorations. I mean, I'm sure you guys have purchased stuff on Etsy before. yeah, and so it attracts kind of a certain kind of person, really. And we're just basically giving Etsy a total shout out right here. We should let them know. But yeah, no, they just attract a really, really nice audience. And so it's nice to kind of be on that platform.
Thanks, YouTube, for allowing Etsy to join us tonight. But do you so if somebody were to do this, is it kind of like a party in a box? You come up with everything, you work with them to kind of collaborate and create the ideas, get the sign off, put it together, it arrives at your doorstep, and boom, you can put together an amazing party that you have done kind of all the legwork to create.
Totally, yeah. So I do kind of a few different things on Etsy. I have like pre-made parties. So if you're looking for like a Top Gun party or, those kinds of things, we do that. And then on my website, we do anything you want, really. I, try to stay away from a lot of the Disney stuff and stuff, but if it's a generic kind of party, I can work with you, to create that. Yeah, and then we just work together on taking pictures of my screen and saying like, what do you think of this, and blah, blah. So it's a lot of like back and forth, and then I ship it all to you, and then it's kind of all ready to hang. So it makes the legwork and the stress of throwing a party so much easier. As a mom, I'm sure you guys can relate. I mean, it's just like so much to throw a party, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, speaking of being a mom, what do you hope that your children are pulling from, your experience doing all this, kind of the multitasking and all the hats that you're wearing?
That's a good question. I always think about, mom guilt is so like prevalent. I just want to, I can't say I don't have it, right? We all have it. But sometimes you meet people who don't have it, and I'm like, I need to get some of what you have. But I guess what I want to teach her is just to go after your big dreams. I think through all this positive thinking, it's like, I'm really just trying to watch my words and watch my stories and watch my beliefs that I'm putting on her, because once you start to realize where yours are coming from, you're like, oh, wow, like I have this little mind who's just absorbing everything, So the main thing is to pursue your dreams, while also I really want to make time for her and my family. So I want to make her number one priority. So that's what I'm striving for. Hopefully, we're all trying not to like send our kids to therapy. You know what I mean? So hopefully I'm doing a good balance.
Well, I'm sure she's proud of you, and I'm sure that, like, as we say, there's judgment everywhere. The one person you can count on that's not judging you is probably her. She's probably just looking at you with those wide eyes and envy. So
that's such a good point. Yeah, sometimes we forget that they're like the most important people that could be judging us. So that's a good point.
I take away your mom guilt.
Right, exactly. You relinquish my mom guilt.
So you said something at the beginning that I loved, and you just you went through it just like, it was just easy, but I'm sure it wasn't. So when you had said you were first learning to practice gratitude, and you read the book, and then you started putting it into practice, and then you started realizing the impact 3 or 4 months into it. So tell us about that, because some people are like, oh, I've done it for 10 days. Nothing's happening. This is stupid. I feel stupid. Like, this is dumb. I want to quit. So like, how'd that work for you?
Yeah. Well, what's funny is I didn't really understand at the time, like what's going on kind of in your brain, when you're doing that. I've learned a lot since then, because I've been studying some things and getting certified in different things to kind of help people with it. But yeah, it's easy to play it off as a coincidence, or, oh, it's just, life events, like, oh, she's gotten better, or you've gotten better, or whatever. But the more that you do it, the more you realize, it's definitely making a difference. And what I tell people is that a lot of what we do is, a lot of our behavior and our thoughts are like 95% unconscious. So when you are going about your everyday life, you don't realize that everything is like habitual. And so your brain just, especially when you're writing, so I have a gratitude kind of prompt that helps people to do it. And one of the things I encourage people to do is write out your goals as if you've already achieved them. So you say, I'm so grateful that whatever it is, you have a Range Rover, whatever you're trying to manifest. And at first that can feel really stupid because your brain's like, hey, dummy, you don't have that. Like, stop writing about it, you know? And that's actually your brain really trying to protect you because it doesn't want you to change. And so, but the more you write it, the more your brain starts to believe it. And so it really is repetition reaps rewards. That is a huge thing. So 10 days can feel like a lot, but so worth it once it ends up happening. So if someone told me if I had to do something for a year to get it, I would totally do it because, you know, it's just a little bit of time out of your day. You know, I think that's probably the two excuses that I hear the most is like, yeah, I'm grateful. I don't need to write it down. And then two is like, I don't have time, which, you know, I get it. Like, we're all super busy, but it's just, like I mentioned about your subconscious thoughts, like you really do have to get it either on paper or say it out loud. Otherwise, you're just not putting yourself in that, you know, gratitude state. And that's kind of the whole point. So
sounds like you need two.
It sounds like you need what?
There's the robot. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what this is about.
The robot is back.
It's gone. All right. So I said it sounds like you need, like, the writing is really important because it also works with the brain and then thinking it and just that programming day after day after day. I think that's awesome. And,
totally.
you know, you're proof that it really pays not to give up and throw in the towel no matter how silly you may feel. You know, the reprogramming of the brain takes a while. So.
Totally. And I mean, there's still things I've been writing in my journal for so long that haven't happened yet. And sometimes it does feel kind of stupid, but one day I'll come back on here and I'll tell you all about it.
So you have a free gratitude resource for people. Is this a lot of what it covers? Writing down these dreams and ambitions?
Yeah, I actually have it right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's basically just a fun printable to get you started. It basically talks about like 3 new things you can write down that you're grateful for every day. And then it talks about, you know, writing down your goals as if you already have them. So it kind of has instructions to kind of walk you through it. Because a lot of times people are like, I don't know what to write in my gratitude journal. And then it just kind of spells out the stuff for you. So it makes it super easy, and you just print one out every day. And then once you get the hang of it, you don't have to print it out because you kind of get into the habit of it. So yeah, people can get that at atouchofla.com/gratitude if they want to pick it up. Just to help you get into the habit of being grateful because, like you said, you got to write it down.
So good.
So awesome.
Mm-hmm. So one more quick question. We've been talking a lot about balance on our Red Bra YouTube channel, and just being a mom and having a corporate job, and then you have this other business. I feel like if I say side hustle, you know, I know how much goes into it, but, you know, and then, you know, you're a wife and you have life, and how do you balance it all for your sanity?
That's a great question. How do you guys balance it all?
I pull from Renee.
Yeah, can I plead the fifth? Oh gosh, I think it's always kind of like back and forth, right? It's like, although this year I've been really intentional about not really working on the nights or the weekends, just really trying hard to kind of focus it during the day and stuff like that. But it's hard to balance. But I shouldn't say that because I need to be watching my words, because the more we say that we can't balance it, the more we're not going to be able to balance it, right? So I can balance it.
We practice daily though.
What's that?
You go, Shona.
Oh, I wasn't saying anything.
Oh,
sorry.
We get to practice daily though, so that's okay. You know, it's like, you know, it's a constant reminding ourselves that it's okay. You know what? Today sucked. It actually wasn't that great, but tomorrow I'm going to give it another try. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that I want to do in my course is like focus on, you know, one thing to celebrate every day, because there's always something to celebrate. And sometimes I have to rack my brain for what that is. And what's funny about that is a lot of times you had a really big, good thing that happened and you just totally forgot about it because like life, you know? And so it's good to keep track of what to celebrate, because, and a lot of times it's that, you know, your kid was, you know, had a really great day, or, you know, you guys read a bunch of stories before bed, or, you know, whatever it is. So just to focus on what was good in that day you know, especially with the balance of family, that's, you know, something you can focus on. So yeah, balance is hard, but if we focus on it, we can make it better.
I think it's so true though. I mean, whatever you can pull from even the worst day, whether it's just like, I'm glad we all have our health tonight, or we're all together tonight. There's something that, that you can pull from. And I think that it's easy for us to forget that. And so your reminder of that is, you know, really empowering to focus on that and not get pulled into that constant negative.
Totally. And, you know, not to go back to our boring brains, but it's like our brains want to remember the bad more than the good, just because it's protecting us from all of these crazy things that it doesn't need to protect us from. And so it's like, you have like amazing, like, I think something really amazing happened to me one day, and I have like a little calendar to write down what I'm grateful for that day. And I didn't even think of it until I really sat down. I was like, oh my gosh, that amazing thing happened today. I totally forgot. So, you know, it's good to really put your attention on it, because you will forget.
So good. So good. And we're all, you know, it's a good reminder that we're all human. You know what? It doesn't come easy, no matter how easy it may look on the outside. It's a constant, you know, you have to work that muscle. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I always tell people it's just like working out. You can't just do it once at the beginning of the year, right? Unfortunately.
I know. That would be great if we could. I would be grateful for that every day.
I would be grateful for that.
Like, all right, I did my 3 to 4 months of gratitude work. I'm done.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is like a lot of times people are like, oh yeah, my mindset, like I don't need to work on my mindset. It's like, I don't think there's a day in my life that I'm ever going to be able to say that. I mean, I'm, you know, talking to you guys about how all this is, but then the other day I went to Safeway and, you know, I got kind of like a little annoyed with the checker. So it's like, it's always like a reminder, right? It's like, oh, calm down, like rein it in. So yeah, it's a day-to-day struggle for sure.
Absolutely. We get it.
Yeah, 100%. So we believe, and I know you've kind of followed us along with us, but the red bra is kind of that cape that we wear, or our confidence that is either hidden under our clothes that you can't always see, but we know it's there, and it's what empowers us to do these things that sometimes we're fearful of. Can you talk about what you think might be your red bra moment?
Ooh. I forget what I told you guys it was, but the one thing that comes to mind, and it may have been this, I forget, but I just always tell myself courage over confidence, because I've never really been confident, and I've had boyfriends and parents and teachers and mentors tell me that I need to have more confidence, and it's like, it's so tiring to hear. And it's like, at the end of the day, confidence doesn't really get you anything, whereas courage, pushing through the not feeling confident, gets you, where you need to be. So I don't know if that's a moment, but I guess it's more of a thought that I always keep in the back of my mind, just courage over confidence.
I think anytime you utilize that, it's a moment.
Totally. Yeah. And I think lately I heard something that was like, it's not really confidence, it's competence. So it's like, the more you learn about something, the more confident you're going to feel about it. And then, and you can only get there through courage. So yeah.
So good, Lindsay. It was so much fun to have you on with us tonight. And I know that our viewers are going to love what they hear. And we just thank you so much for the time that you've spent with us. So welcome to the Red Bra community. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you so much. You guys are so awesome to chat with. Maybe I'll have to have you on a live video on my Instagram or something. We'll try to figure out how to do that.
That would be a Red Bra.
Love it.
That would be fun.
That'd be fun. Yeah, we got to flip the script.
So we close out every show with a quote, and the quote that we chose for you tonight is, "When you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears." Tony Robbins.
Ooh, I love that.
So good. Yes. Simple, and is it powerful. So thank you again so much for taking the time out to be with us. And to all of our viewers, thank you guys for tuning in. We love you guys, and we're so glad that you're enjoying all of these stories. And if you're not already a subscriber, we'd love to have you get all the show reminders. Just hit the subscribe button. Come on over and follow us at the Red Bra Project, and we're going to be sure to follow up with Lindsay. We're going to link up all of the ways to contact her, but you need to follow her because she is insanely creative and is so awesome to follow. It's just like a ray of positivity in your Instagram feed. So check her out. And coming from all over the country tonight, we wish you guys all a good night.
Thanks guys so much.
Bye. Thank you.